This week on Inside the Headset, we are featuring college football Hall of Fame coach and former AFCA President Joe Taylor. In this episode, Coach Taylor dives in on how he uses coaching as a ministry, shares the keys on how to maintain long-term success, and highlights his personal experience serving as the AFCA President. But first, a word from our sponsors.
XA Score is built for sports teams to redesign their best. We're fostering genuine connection by helping coaches to be in tune with their student athletes while also providing clarity to those student athletes on where they truly stand. Your program will immediately benefit from automated and scored attendance tracking system that drives discipline, a daily wellness and readiness data collection system with insights, a daily body weight capture, tracking, analytics, and scoring towards goals while driving pure accountability towards a player-led program. So let me know when you want to get started, and together we'll immediately impact your program.
The Werner Ladder AFCA FBS Coach of the Year Award is the oldest award given by the American Football Coaches Association and embodies the nature of respect more than any other award in the game of football. Every coach who believes in the power of football to build better men knows the value of the game. Only a tiny minority of coaches can scale the heights to achieve true excellence. To make the climb, great coaches know they need help from a great team of players and assistant coaches. It's one of the primary reasons Werner Ladder signed on to sponsor the Werner Ladder AFCA FBS Coach of the Year Award in 2019. As a world leader in ladder manufacturing, Werner knows what it means to support a champion's climb to the top. Cincinnati's Luke Fickell highlights today's announcement of the 2021 Werner Ladder AFCA FBS Regional Coach of the Year winners. These winners will be honored on Sunday, January 9th during the 2022 AFCA Convention in San Antonio, Texas. Fickell, the Region 1 winner, earned his second straight AFCA regional honor after guiding Cincinnati to a 13-0 record, the American Athletic Conference Championship, and the program's first berth in the college football playoff. Cincinnati will play Alabama in the CFP semifinals in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. He has an overall record of 48-14 and won 2 straight AAC titles with the Bearcats. The Region 2 winner, Arkansas's Sam Pittman, takes home his first AFCA regional honor. In only his second season as head coach, Pittman engineered one of the great turnarounds in college football, taking the Razorbacks from 3 wins in 2020 to 8 wins in 2021. Arkansas upset 2 ranked teams, then number 15 Texas, and then number 7 Texas A&M. Their on-field success earned themselves a trip to the Outback Bowl, where they'll face off against Penn State. Mel Tucker also earned his first AFCA Region 3 honor by leading Michigan State to a school record 8-win turnaround. The Spartans finished the regular season at 10-2 after going 2-5 in the COVID-shortened 2020 campaign. Tucker is 17-14 in his 3 years as head coach at Michigan State and Colorado, and has the Spartans playing Pittsburgh in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Jeff Traylor is another first-time winner from Region 4. He has led UTSA to its first-ever Conference USA title with a 12-1 overall record. Traylor is 19-6 in his 2 years as head coach, set a record for best 25-game start for a UTSA coach, and has the Roadrunners on a 10-game home winning streak, another school record. UTSA will play San Diego State in the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. The fourth first-time winner in 2021 is Blake Anderson from Utah State. The Region 5 winner led the Aggies to the Mountain West Conference title in his first season as head coach. Utah State is 10-3 overall and went 7-0 on the road for the first time in program history. They are the first FBS school to go 7-0 on the road since 2013. Anderson has an overall record of 61-40 in his 8 years as a head coach at Utah State and Arkansas State. He led the Red Wolves to 2 Sun Belt Conference titles and 6 bowl games in his 7 years as head coach. Voting for the Werner Ladder AFCA FBS Coach of the Year Award begins Monday, December 13th, and will run through January 7th. For questions regarding Coach of the Year voting, please feel free to contact Vince Thompson at vince@afca.com.
Coach Joe Taylor, how are you, Coach?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. It's an honor to be on with you. I kind of told you before we actually start recording, and I met you years ago, and it was just one of those moments that I won't forget. And you have a lot of those handshakes at the AFCA convention, and that's just one of them that meant a lot to me.
Well, that's one of the great things about coming to the convention every year. You just get a chance to interact and meet a lot of great people. And really, it helps to shape your career because uh, we don't seem to mind sharing. It's a copycat business.
Right.
If somebody is winning, it's going to be okay. They don't mind sharing what they're doing. X and O might be a little bit different, but in terms of philosophy and concepts, and that's what I really enjoy about coming to the convention.
Absolutely. When I tell my friends kind of what I do now here at the AFCA, they are so surprised that coaches are willing to share and give that information over to others. And it's not like I always use the example of burgers, fast food. You won't see McDonald's giving that secret sauce recipe away to Burger King or anything like that. And it's just so unique that we're willing to do that in a profession that's so competitive.
And I think especially under Grant Taft, first of all, he invited the top coaches, the ones that were winning at a high level. And you could go into those sessions, and I'm talking about leave out of there with great information. I remember the Bobby Bowens of the world, of course, Eddie Robinson, and Bo Schembechler was the one that I really, wherever he was speaking, I knew I was going to be there because they didn't mind sharing. And, it's it's a copycat business, but in a good way.
Well, Coach, let's kind of dive into your coaching career because you had a great stint as a head coach and as an assistant. You won 4 national championships, 14 conference titles, 7 bowl games, and have a lifetime win-loss record of 233 and 96. I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable. And the one of the most awesome things, in my opinion, is you spent a big amount of your coaching career at 3 different HBCUs. And I think HBCUs at one point in time was really the mecca of college football. And then it transitioned a little bit. And then really with this COVID situation where you had the FCS playing ball in the spring, I think it really brought to light the HBCU football again. I think a lot of people got really excited about it. Just what is that historically back college football? What does that mean to you?
Well, and that's a good question. And my wife and I really set in 1978. I was the assistant coach at Eastern, Illinois. We won a national championship, and Darryl Mudra, he was the head coach. Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. And John Tierlink, he was a defensive coordinator. Just real bright minds. And Eastern hadn't won in about 16 years. So to be on that staff was really an honor. We learned a lot. But after that national championship, I realized that because I had spent 5 years on the high school level in D.C., in Washington. So and then I went to Western Illinois. So as you look at my whole career, we had experience at the PWI, we had experience at the HBCU, and my wife and I, our decision was based on the fact that we look at coaching as a ministry. And when we look at it as a ministry, it's more to it than the X and O. It's really about life-changing experiences. It's life after football.
Right.
And we felt like we could make the biggest impact with this ministry at the HBCU because, it's important to have role models, persons who look like them with shirt and tie. So when we looked at it and we felt like at the PWI, a lot of those student athletes could, after college, could get a shave, cut their hair, especially back in the 60s. You're talking about the hippies. They could get a haircut and probably go back home and get into their family business. The HBCU, those young men, to me, They didn't have that opportunity. This was it. If they didn't make it in this, they probably wasn't going to. So that's why we made the decision not to be a Martin Luther King, but the idea that we wanted to impact lives in a way in which it was more than a uniform rack, that we were preparing them for life after football. And 85% of my student athletes have graduated. They've gone on to be doctors, lawyers, corporate, leaders, and most of all, great family men, great men. So that's where that decision came from.
I absolutely love the fact that I spout out all these amazing accolades and championships and all that kind of stuff, and you follow up with what it's all about, and that's that student athlete and that development. In a game right now that is so competitive, you're watching coaches get let go left and right after even having winning records and all that kind of stuff. How do you how were you able to have this level of success that I talked about, wins and losses, X's and O's, and also have that success that you had with those individuals, the doctors and lawyers, the 85% graduation rate? How were you able to maintain both of those?
And that's a good question, and the good Lord was just looking out for me. But first of all, I found out a long time ago that I've never gone to a Kentucky Derby and seen a donkey. All right, it's all about horses. So I've been blessed to be around a lot of great administrators, a lot of great assistant coaches, and outstanding young men. And when you treat the whole man, when you look at them as, again, more than uniform racks, when you prepare them for life, and Darryl Moody kind of made this statement too, treat a man as he is and he will be, treat him as he can be and he will become. When the young man is really enjoying his experience, he will show you on game day how much he appreciates you. And as you know, going into the Hall of Fame, the idea was for every 10 games that you line up, you have to win 7. That's kind of like 7% to get into the Hall. Well, we did that because once we even had a FCA where every Friday night we would get together, we would have a minister to come in. In fact, I had a chaplain that traveled with us, whether we were home or away, and he gave us a sermon every Friday night. And because find a man's spirit, there also you'll find him. So when we treated the whole man, and he really realized that he is someone that has value, that can achieve, it's sustaining for him and, of course, for the program. So for us to, of course, now, the good Lord, again, there's a lot of blessings too, because as you look around, I spent 40 years on that sideline, and to win 7 out of every 10 for that amount of time, it's been a blessing. But that's the real key to it. Treating people as they are in terms of they're not, the good Lord didn't put them here just to be a uniform rack. All right. We were some kind of way able to let them know that, boy, you are valuable. You are somebody. And then we went out there and just had fun on Saturday.
That's right. Well, you did a great job with the coach, and I know you don't need me to tell you that, but I definitely will. Now, in my experience in the profession, you kind of alluded to a donkey and a horse race. So you have your horses, right? You have your guys that are going to show up and play on Saturday, and you love them up and you take care of them all throughout the week. You have your coaching staff. One part that is often forgot about in terms of success is that athletic administration, their role in successful programs. You had the opportunity since 2013 to work in that administration department as the director of athletics for Virginia Union, and more recently the VP of intercollegiate athletics at Virginia Union. And you even have some opportunities to work at the collegiate football playoff management committee. How has which has been involved in some of these aspects of the game? How have you grown, and what have you realized in these roles?
Well, again, very good question. And as you know, in 2012, I retired from Florida A&M after 40 years of coaching. And Bobby Bowden and I, because I was in Tallahassee, he had retired. Of course, I was retired. And we used to play golf at least twice a week. And I don't know, maybe we dug up too many divots because they ran me out of Tallahassee because my golf game is not that good, I guess. But on a more serious note, I was here at Virginia Union back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I left here, went to Hampton for 16 years. And it was a great experience there. And then I went to Florida A&M for 5 years and finished up. And what I thought I had retired, and the president here, Dr. Claude Perkins, said, "Listen, Coach, I know you are retired, but we haven't won a championship here in 10 years. I need you to come and just organize the athletic program again. And just give me 3 years and just get it organized." Well, this is year 7. So I don't know which one of us can't count, but it's more than 3. But anyway, we won about 15 championships since I've been back. And I'm using the same philosophy, the same vision that we did as a coach, because it's a people business. Vision means that you need to see it before others, and you write it down in terms of what your vision is. In fact, we're right now in a 2025 vision time slot where there's certain things we want to happen by then. And you use the Six Sigma in terms of principles, in terms of eliminating waste. I evaluated every coach that was on staff. It was obvious why they were losing. So we had the autonomy to do what was necessary to get the program up and running. And, it was obvious to me that it was more about them than the young people. And we've always, coaching to me again, it's the greatest profession in America because every day you get the opportunity to impact lives in a positive way. And that wasn't happening here. And in fact, we have 15 sports. 12 of those sports have new coaches since I've been here. So you just take the same philosophy, the same concepts, and you bring it from the sideline to administration, because if it worked then, because all you're doing is creating a better life. Whenever you want change, what you have to do is elevate the standards of the people that are in the business. The better the people, the better the organization. So it was obvious to me that we had to, make some changes there. And I'm enjoying the fact that people want you in the org because they feel like you can bring value. And I love to see young people take their chins off their chest and feel good about their experience. So I've really just taken everything we've pretty much done as a coach and just now turn it. I've transitioned from coaching players to coaching coaches.
Yeah.
And that's administration.
Absolutely. Now, you did have a sneak peek at kind of working outside of football. In 2001, you were the president of the AFCA while you were in Hampton. Why was that an important role for you to take on, and what motivated you to do that?
Well, first of all, we joined the Board of Trustees in 1972. The same year Grant Taft took over the AFCA, we were invited to join the board. And to get to the board, I think at the time, there were 21 committees in the AFCA. And I don't know what it is now, pretty much probably the same.
Yes.
Yeah. And I served on 19 of those. So it was just a great opportunity to glean, to just be in the room with outstanding minds in this profession. And I credit my ascension to a successful coach, to the Board of Trustees, to the presidency, the CFP, the Hall of Fame. All of that was shaped and developed being an intricate part of the AFCA. I always tell young people, get out the hallway. All right, you can't solve anything in the hallway. All you can do is see how many beers you can drink. But that's not why you're in this profession. And when you are in this AFCA, it affords you the opportunity to see what works and see what does not work. And I am so thankful for Grant for the opportunity. And like I said before, I always say, if you are not at the table, you're probably on the menu. And being on the menu means your life is going to be up and down. Your profession is going to be up and down. But being at the table allowed this sustainability, because you learn, I'm not going to say the tricks of the trade, but you learn the components for success. In fact, I was able to write a book, and the book is called The Making of a Champion, Success is an Inconvenience. And what it really talks about is controlling your dash, and the dash is DASH. On every tombstone, between your 4 numbers that talks about your birth year and the 4 numbers at the end that talk about expiration, there's always a dash. You had nothing to do with the first 4 numbers. Your parents got together, and you were the end result. And when it's time to leave this earth, expiration, there is no negotiation. You have no control over that. But in between those 2 sets of 4 numbers, there's always a dash. That's all you have control of. And DASH stands for, D is for discipline. All right? Anything you want to do in life, it starts with discipline. You learn that at the AFCA. The next letter is A, attitude. Once you get your attitude correct, you can do anything in this world you want to do once you flush all negativity. S is for sacrifice. Success comes before hard work only in the dictionary. It's about putting time in. And of course, H is for habits, because man does not decide his future. Man decides his habits, and your habits decide your future. So all of that is just understanding being in the AFCA created that type of mindset, and I am forever grateful.
I did not expect that answer. That was great stuff. Would you mind just mentioning that book again, the name of it, just in case anybody's interested in purchasing
Yeah.
it?
In fact, Bobby Bowden wrote the foreword and Tony Dungy wrote the afterword, but it's called The Making of a Champion. Success is an inconvenience. And what that simply means is success does not care about how you feel. Success cares about process. if you do what's necessary to be successful, you will be. You got to excuse me too. I'm getting some work done, some dental work, and I have some temporary partials, and I'm struggling to get it through, but hopefully it's clear enough.
It's definitely clear enough, Coach. I didn't even notice that. But it's been my pleasure, Coach. But before you leave, I did want to mention this and kind of get your word off of it. Or you've alluded to it a little bit already. This year, we're celebrating our 100th year of serving the profession with our 2022 convention down in San Antonio. So we've had 100 of these conventions. In 22 will be our 100th. What has this organization meant to you? And I know you kind of talked about when you're sitting at the table, been a president, been on these boards, but as a young coach, wet behind the ears, just trying to figure it out, what were some of the things that was special about this organization to you?
Wow. And that's out of all the questions, this is really the greatest one because I really don't, again, Grant Taft, great man. Of course, he was the coach at Baylor for a long while. Coach Mike Singletary, and he used to invite all those guys back to the convention. But under Grant, I really think the AFCA became what we call a profession. And I heard in the early days, it was a smoke-filled room, cigar smokers, bourbon, and that's what the coaches came together and they just talked football. But Grant expanded it. First of all, there was a AFCWA, a wives association, so that wives could come together and share their experiences so that it helped the coach out because his wife now understands better the business. All right. He brought in financial advisors to help coaches understand the importance of investing and long-term future plans that will, how to move, who are the better moving companies, how to construct or design your contract, what should be in it. It became a profession, and I really credit Grant Taft and the AFCA again for any success that I've had because I was able to sit at the table and I was able to, so many spinoffs and different areas that coaches don't really think about because they are so involved with getting that job and speaking at that convention or speaking at that clinic. But I learned how to run a program. And like I said, the Bo Schemblechlers, the Bobby Bowdens, the Eddie Robinson, the Jake Gaithers. If you sit in those boardrooms or if you go to those committees, you don't have a choice but to grow and understand this business. And it's meant the world to me. And I tell you, again, when I talk about any successes, it's because of the AFCA. So I tell young men, get out the hallway, all right? Stop standing around the bar. Get on these committees. Be committed because it is the best profession in America. And the AFCA really is the leader in all of it. It's the largest organization in America, and it's the greatest in my mind.
Well, Coach, people like yourself make it great, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us. I appreciate everything you've done for the game itself, for HBCU football, and I know they sure appreciate you over there at Virginia Union at the moment. So thanks again for visiting with us, and hope to see you at one of these things again before it's too long.
Well, thanks so much, and I'm glad you didn't ask me too much about the CFP because we're not allowed to say.
I figured you wouldn't be able to say much about it, so I kind of steered away from it.
But it's an honor being a part of that. And, of course, Bill Hancock and, of course, Gary Botta, they do a great job. And it's all data-driven, but believe me, it's an honor to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And once again, you're the College Football Playoff Management Committee, and so once again, just staying involved with the game. So I know they appreciate you over there as well. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, and continued success to you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Inside the Headset. If you heard anything on this episode that you would like to learn more information about, head over to afcapodcast.com, where you can find every episode and all of the corresponding show notes. While you're there, take a second to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for the show, please let us know by sending an email to podcast@afca.com. Make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter at Inside the Headset and tag it when you share each episode. You can stay up to date with all things AFCA by following the @WeAreAFCA Twitter account. Every episode of Inside the Headset can also be found on your favorite audio streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you are not currently a member of the AFCA, be sure to find us online at afca.com and apply to join over 10,000 NFL, college, and high school coaches from around the country who are striving to be the best they can be. With an AFCA membership, you gain invaluable access to the annual AFCA convention, the bi-monthly magazine, and the new and improved digital library, which contains thousands of videos and articles contributed by hundreds of current and former football coaches. You can also visit afcainsider.com to sign up for our free weekly email newsletter on the right-hand side of the screen. It comes out every Tuesday at lunch and is filled with great articles and stories written by many of the same coaches you hear on the podcast. It's geared to help you become a better coach tomorrow than you are today. Be sure to connect with me on Twitter at Coach Mario Price, and remember, the AFCA is not just an annual convention. It is an association that continually promotes education, guidance, and networking. But it is also so much more than that. The AFCA is about celebrating the past and educating the future. It is about developing great coaches who will produce great teams and even better people. So invest in your skill set and impact today by engaging with the AFCA.